Sound rolling.
Camera 1.
Rolling.
Camera 2. Rolling.
My name is Olivia Cosentino, and I am a Zimuri Stone postdoctoral fellow at the Stone Center for Latin American Studies at Tulane University. I am also the co-project manager of the Centennial Project, and my own research focuses on Mexican film and culture, largely in the 20th century, a bit in the 21st century as well, focused on questions of popular culture, stardom, affect, also thinking about how spectators respond to cinema. Within my role as co-project manager with Alejandro Kelly Hopfenblatt, I've worked to create a digital archive for all of our Centennial documents, as well as supervising the creation of audiovisual products, and additionally figuring out a digital site that will house both elements of the digital archive and also these audiovisual products that we've created. I arrived at Tulane in July of 2021. I obviously was hired as a postdoctoral fellow at that point, but Tulane had always had this sort of special place in my academic imaginary. My PhD advisor, Laura Podolsky, did her graduate work here at Tulane in Latin American Studies and worked with Ana López, who always liked to refer to herself as my academic grandmother. So the prospect of coming back to Tulane held a lot of importance for me professionally, but also personally. And I was really excited to be in a place that had such a focus on Latin America. So I would say that there are two things I've learned in my time at Tulane that I'm going to take with me in my career. The first is the value of intentional community building, which I think the Stone Center does extraordinarily well. Everyone talks about the community that the Stone Center has created, and that is intentional. It's not by accident. It's an investment in bringing people together. I think the other thing I've learned is that, as someone who's worked a lot in archives, I think I really underestimated the importance of the oral history, the humanness that really should accompany any sort of document-centric archive. And so this project has made me think a lot more about the possibilities of working with people and creating oral histories as an intrinsic part of any kind of historical project. A standout memory for me of my time here at Tulane with the Stone Center is the series of brainstorming lunches that we had in fall of 2022, where we all brought our lunch, sat out in the patio just outside Jones Hall, and invited various members of the Stone Center to sit and reflect with us about what this project might be called. And this was standout for me because they were fun. There was so much laughter, there was creativity, there was also this really important dialogue going on about the importance of naming, which is so central in thinking about Latin American studies as a whole, the power of language, the power of the way we describe relationships. And so in thinking back on this time, that's really a standout memory to me because in those meetings, Patricia Lagarde came up with the last 100, and I wanted to have this, on record that, this was a series of conversations that led us toward the last 100, playing with LAST as, the emblem for Latin American studies, but also thinking about what happened over the last 100 years, and then also what will happen over the next 100 years. And so for me, those lunches are sort of a microcosm of the collaboration that this project really embodies, and the creativity of many voices coming together to think about how to conceptualize these last 100 years. One of the things that has surprised me working on the Centennial Project at Tulane is the amount of names and scholars that I recognized who had been touched by Tulane in one way or another. They did, a stint here as a professor. They went on a language program. They did a master's or PhD here. I remember coming across Brett Gustafson's name, who is, a professor at WashU. I did my undergraduate at WashU, but constantly coming across names of scholars who I had read in the field of Latin American studies and just realizing the reach that the Stone Center really had in terms of producing scholars, training mentors who would produce other scholars. I mean, I myself am a product of Tulane's academic legacy. So I think the surprise for me was just sort of the breadth of that reach of the Stone Center. If I had to describe the legacy of the Stone Center in one word, it would be openness. And I say openness because I think the Stone Center for many years has been incredibly open to new ideas, to supporting new projects, to bringing on faculty who chart new directions in their fields. And I think the spirit of openness to what is to come and anticipating what is to come both defines the legacy of the Stone Center, but also sets it on the path for the next 100 years.